nerderotic.com.
All right, Dennis, I wanted to make this part of our podcast, episode 109, but I thought it was worthy of its own separate video. And we are talking about Ash versus Evil Dead. You and I are huge fans of this show, as many are. There was an article recently put up a few days ago by the wonderful Susan Layton, who is a subscriber, and we follow her on Twitter. She writes for 1428elm.com. This is a fan-sided website. Those are pretty big websites, by the way. They do great work, and especially on genre stuff. And she gave us a shout out on our Ash being canceled video, which we greatly appreciate. So thank you, Susan.
Yep.
And I thought that her article here deserved a video on its own. Now, other people have talked about it. Bigger people have talked about it. We're a tiny little station, but we want to do our part in trying to save Ash, and that's what we are trying to do. You and I in the Ash being canceled video were kind of wondering like what the hell was going on. Stars was being really tight-lipped, and I guess the stars of the show didn't exactly know entirely what was going on. But Bruce Campbell, bless his heart, the man will not be silenced. He will not be silenced. And you got to check him out at a book signing in San Diego, and you got some video. Tell me a little bit about the book signing.
So the book signing was happening for his latest book, Hail to the Chin, Continuing Confessions of a B-movie actor. He was basically doing a tour. I think he was in San Francisco a few days before he came down here to San Diego. And it was a packed house. It was probably about 300 people, and there was even more outside waiting. And he gave a little, he was reading some excerpts from the book beforehand, and then took some questions from people. And one of the things that he happened to mention was that basically if people didn't pay for it, basically didn't subscribe to Stars, that the show probably wouldn't be around anymore. Basically, they didn't pay for it.
On Stars, don't give me that blank look. That app, or it'll be canceled. Pay for it, or it'll be canceled. Life is that simple. You want more? Pay for share. Good night.
And our video was speculating that it was based on another video where he said he possibly had hung up the chainsaw for good.
Yeah.
And we were kind of shocked about this because the buzz online for this show has been nothing but positive. I mean, it is a fun, great show. And it would just be a tragedy if this thing ended. But the thing is, and it goes down to, thieving. And I'm not here, and Dennis isn't here to tell you not to illegally download. We know everybody does it, but there's ramifications from it. And when you do stuff like that, you kill the thing you love. Stars isn't a huge network anyway, and a lot of the fans of the show weren't able to find a way to watch this outside of Stars. Now, what Susan has done, she wrote this article, and then she wrote another article basically telling you where you can go find Ash vs. Evil Dead. There's no excuses. It's not that expensive. Stars, I believe, is you can, if you pay a little extra, it's part of Amazon Prime, I believe.
Yeah. It's I think $8
it's also on Vimeo. You can also get it, I believe, on Sling. I don't know about any other countries. Yeah, I will link both of her articles in our description for this video. But her article says, and great shout out to us, by the way. It was awesome. And it was awesome that you went down there, man. Bruce Campbell, pay for Ash vs. Evil Dead or it will be canceled. Ash vs. Evil Dead star Bruce Campbell was at Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore in San Diego, California the past week to promote his New York Times bestseller, Hail to the Chin. Nerdrotic Podcast happened to catch his reading on video. He had a blunt and very straightforward message to the fans of his beleaguered series. Life is that simple. If you steal it, it's going to die. You need to subscribe to Stars. This is beyond even buying the Blu-rays. It's great that you buy the Blu-rays, but you need to subscribe to Stars or the show's done.
We were actually speculating when we went to Comic-Con last year, we weren't able to get all 4 days. So we missed the window that Ash vs. Evil Dead was actually doing the panel. We got to see the outside thing that they did, the cabin in the woods, which was out in the Petco Park area. That was actually kind of cool. But we weren't able to go in and actually see them at a panel. So this year we were looking forward to seeing the panel. and they never showed up. There was no Stars presence other than, what is it, Outlander, I think is what it was. That was the only Stars present. There was no American Gods, nothing. And we're trying to figure out what was going on. And I had actually messaged them, both Ash vs. Evil Dead and Bruce Campbell himself, asking, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you guys here? We're missing you guys here. Never got any response back, of course. Wasn't surprised about that. But turns out they were still in New Zealand filming at that time, which was kind of weird because normally they have an October release, and they had actually said they were going to come out in October. And it was soon after Comic-Con. I think it was actually, just before New York Comic-Con. They said that, oh no, we're premiering in February. Now we're moving into February of 2018.
Which screwed up a lot of things, Dennis, because they Universal had an Ash vs. Evil Dead maze at their theme park. Bruce Campbell was doing his book tour at this time, and it was all supposed to coincide with the release. So this delay was last minute. And so I guess part of that delay was Greg DiGregorio leaving from Chuck and Workaholics. I love Workaholics, by the way. And he had a little spat, not with Sam Raimi, Rob Talbert, and they wanted to go more horror than comedy. And I believe, was it Kelly or was it the other girl who was supposed to be Ash's daughter?
Kelly.
It was Kelly.
Kelly was going to be. They wanted Kelly to be, or he wanted Kelly to be the daughter. Greg Gregorio, Gregorio wanted Kelly to be Ash's daughter, and I honestly don't agree with that myself. It takes away from the character of Kelly.
I didn't agree with it either, but I think the biggest difference this season is it's going to be more of more horror driven, and it looks like it's just taking place in a high school. So I think there was, and the thing is, they're doing an Ash daughter thing anyway.
Yes.
So they're not making it Kelly, they're making it someone else. They're bringing in a new character. So that might have been the spat there. And I think that's what caused the delay. But it looks like that really, like, they weren't happy because they were shooting on the same schedule. So I don't know what happened there. But back to Susan's article here. Bruce Campbell's been saying this for a while, and it just seems to have fallen on deaf ears. For the most of this year, Ash vs. Evil Dead Network star remained tight-lipped about the start date for season 3. Even the series stars didn't have a clue as to what was going on. Then at New York Comic-Con, the announcement was made that the show would be returning February 25th, 2018. While that was great news, the future still remains uncertain. Presently, no word on renewal is forthcoming. Campbell was quite vocal about what was happening with the franchise. Illegal downloading is killing the show. Now, people can come out and say, well, every show has to deal with that. Game of Thrones and da-da-da. But guess what? This is going to start becoming a big problem with genre-based stuff as we go on and as more things get streamed, because they're going to have less control with that. As long as there's ScreenFlow and you're going to show something on a computer, people are going to be able to record it and share it. Now, people have always been able to record stuff. You've been able to record stuff on VCR. You just weren't able to share it as easily. Now we could share. So studios have to find ways to get around that. Now, the thing is, unless you want reality television all the time, because that's one of the least stolen things there is. People just generally don't like to go back and watch live TV. This is going to hurt everything we love. And I'm not telling you not to steal anything. Just don't steal Ash. Just for this one case, please don't steal Ash.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I know you brought up Game of Thrones as being stolen. Game of Thrones is watched by tens of millions versus Ash vs. Evil Dead, which I'm going to conservatively say millions, but not tens of millions. So stealing a show like this, which has a smaller fan base or a smaller viewership, if you will, hurts it a lot. Versus, Game of Thrones, which can absorb a little bit of that.
Well, and the bigger shows used to be able to absorb stuff, so the little shows like this could exist. Yeah. And the thing is, Stars doesn't have that. American Gods could be that. That could be the thing. Stars needs a Game of Thrones, and I think American Gods, and that could help Ash survive. I love the 30-minute, it's perfect for Ash. And I think more shows can do that.
You got to remember, Stars was actually the what was it? It was basically the little sister to Showtime, kind of like Cinemax is the little sister to HBO. So there was a spillover of movies. Once they ran their course on HBO, they would spill over into Stars. Or once they ran, their course over in HBO, they'd run over to Cinemax. And then, of course, you had the Skinemax stuff that happened late at night. So
this is where the best TV is being made, is in cable. Pretty much everything we cover is like a cable show or an FX show. We don't do a lot of network stuff because honestly, it's better than movies too. We were just talking about Thor, and it might have a down box office because there's 500 scripted television shows out there right now. Okay, 500. So there's a lot of stuff to choose from. Plus, there's YouTube, and you really need to stand out. And Ash does stand out. It's funny. It's clever.
It's quick.
It's quick. It's everything. The movie. It's the quality is equal to the movies. It is equal to the movies.
Well, it's because you have all the same people that were working on the original movies. Working on this, which is very rare. Normally, we're talking a 30-plus-year-old franchise that has moved over into television. You got to remember, Star Wars, same kind of thing. And where are we at right now with Star Wars? I'm going to say yes, it's making money, Star Wars, but it's nowhere near as good as what it used to be. And this is the same quality. Ash versus Evil Dead is the same quality as the movies, if not better than the original movies, with the same people involved.
And I was really hoping this series would go far enough to where they would go back in time and fight Deadites again, like in medieval times and stuff, and do some Army of Darkness stuff. Doesn't look like that's going to happen now, man. I'm just super bummed about this, man.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to February 25th. We will be podcasting every damn show, and we will be talking about it, and we'll keep doing videos. And if it talks one person into just going out and getting a Star subscription or going on Amazon Prime or wherever you can go, again, I'm going to link both articles in our description, and one of them, Susan has looked up every place you can go to find Ash, and a lot of them are pretty cheap. Don't let Ash die. Please help us save Ash. The hashtag is Bring Back Boomstick. Remember that hashtag and put it out there on Twitter as much as you can. We will do the same. Dennis, is there anything else you can think of say to save our beloved Ash?
If you're watching it, pay for it.
And again, we would like to thank Susan Layton for giving us a shout out. And please follow her on Twitter. It's at Susan on the Ledge, at Susan on the Ledge. And please check out anything she writes. She's a fan side contributor at 1428elm.com. And wow, she's got a lot of stuff up there. And I will be sharing that. And again, I will put a link to her stuff in our description. So thanks again. And
thank you.
Bring back Boomstick.
Bring back Boomstick. And subscribe to Stars.
Subscribe to Stars.
Nerderotic.com.